Ladies and gentlemen, the concept of U vs U highlights one of the most profound truths in personal growth. The most significant battle any individual faces is internal. This battle is not against competitors, circumstances, or external challenges. It is against the person we were yesterday, the excuses we create, the doubts we harbor, and the habits we allow to persist. Self-mastery is the real battle because it determines how far we can go, how much we can grow, and ultimately who we become. It is the ongoing struggle to discipline our thoughts, control our emotions, and take consistent action toward our highest potential. Many people spend their lives comparing themselves to others. They measure their worth by external standards, wealth, recognition, or social approval. But this mindset leads to dissatisfaction because there will always be someone ahead in some way. The more empowering approach is to turn inward and focus on self-mastery. This means asking, how can I be better than I was yesterday? It means recognizing that our true potential is not unlocked through external validation, but through internal discipline and self-awareness. Self-mastery begins with awareness. We cannot improve what we do not recognize. This means taking an honest look at our behavior, thoughts, and emotions. Where are we falling short? What triggers our negative reactions? Where are we inconsistent with our values? Answering these questions requires humility. It requires putting ego aside and being brutally honest with ourselves. Most people avoid this level of introspection because it's uncomfortable. But it's also the first step toward real transformation. Once awareness is established, the next step is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between who we are and who we want to be. It's not glamorous and it doesn't always feel good. But it's essential. Discipline is getting up early when we'd rather sleep in. It's choosing to exercise when the couch is calling. It's doing the hard work even when no one is watching. Every small act of discipline strengthens our character and brings us closer to mastery. One of the biggest obstacles in the journey of self-mastery is the internal dialogue that holds us back. We all have an inner voice that tries to protect us from pain and failure. It says things like, "You're not good enough," "You'll never succeed," or "Just do it tomorrow." This voice is not our enemy, it's our fear trying to keep us safe. But in order to grow, we have to challenge that voice. We have to recognize that growth only comes through discomfort. When we feel resistance, it's often a sign we're on the right path. Another key component of self-mastery is emotional control. Emotions are powerful and necessary, but when they go unchecked, they can sabotage our progress. Mastery means learning to respond rather than react. It means taking a pause before we speak or act, especially in moments of stress or anger. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions. It means understanding them, managing them, and not letting them control our behavior. People who master their emotions are able to make better decisions, build stronger relationships, and maintain focus on long-term goals. Consistency is also critical. Anyone can be motivated for a day or a week. But self-mastery is not about temporary inspiration. It's about sustainable habits. It's about showing up day after day, even when motivation fades. The compound effect of small, disciplined actions repeated over time leads to extraordinary results. When we commit to the process rather than chasing quick outcomes, we begin to transform our identity. We start to see ourselves not just as someone who wants to grow, but as someone who does grow every day. The journey of self-mastery is not linear. There will be setbacks. There will be days when we fall short, when old habits creep back in, when fear gets the best of us. But the difference between those who grow and those who stay stuck is the willingness to get back up. Self-mastery is not about being perfect. It's about being resilient. It's about recognizing failure as feedback, not defeat. Every time we choose to recommit, we strengthen our resolve and deepen our progress. Ultimately, the battle of self-mastery is a lifelong journey. There is no final destination. There is no moment where we arrive and no longer need to grow. But that's what makes it beautiful. It's a daily opportunity to become more aligned with our values, more disciplined in our actions, and more intentional in our lives. The more we invest in this internal battle, the more peace, clarity, and purpose we gain. In the end, the only person who can truly stop us is ourselves. The world may throw challenges our way, but the real question is how we respond. Will we rise above our excuses, face our fears, and push beyond our comfort? Or will we allow our lesser self to win? The choice is always ours, and every day is a new chance to win the battle of you vs you. Discipline is the quiet force behind every significant achievement. It doesn't shout, seek praise, or wait for ideal conditions. It simply shows up, day after day, choice after choice. At its core, discipline is about doing what needs to be done, even when we don't feel like doing it. It's what separates dreams from results, intentions from reality. In the battle of you versus you, discipline is the weapon that overcomes excuses and clears the path to progress. Excuses are easy, they come naturally, often disguised as logic or self-compassion. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. It's not the right time. These statements seem harmless, but over time they become barriers. They give us permission to stay comfortable, to avoid challenge, and to defer our goals indefinitely. The danger of excuses is that they are incredibly convincing. They make us feel justified in doing less than we are capable of. But every excuse we accept is a moment we step away from growth and inch closer to stagnation. Discipline, on the other hand, is rarely comfortable. It demands effort, patience, and a willingness to endure temporary discomfort for long-term benefit. It requires us to act in alignment with our goals, regardless of our mood or circumstances. When discipline is present, excuses lose their power. The voice that says, skip the workout, is met with action anyway. The urge to procrastinate is overridden by a clear sense of purpose. Discipline silences the noise of doubt and distraction by focusing on the task at hand. The interesting thing about discipline is that it isn't something people are born with, it's something they build. It's like a muscle that strengthens with use. The more we practice discipline, the easier it becomes to resist excuses. Each small decision to follow through, even when it's hard, reinforces our identity as someone who follows through. Over time, that identity becomes a source of pride and self-respect. We start to trust ourselves more, knowing we can count on our own consistency. One of the biggest misconceptions about discipline is that it always feels like punishment. While it's true that discipline often involves sacrifice, it also brings freedom. There's a deep satisfaction in knowing that you're taking control of your life, rather than being at the mercy of impulse or circumstance. Discipline gives us the ability to choose what's best for us in the long run, rather than what feels good in the moment. That's a powerful form of freedom, one that builds confidence, clarity, and resilience. Excuses often stem from fear of failure, of judgment, of not being good enough. They're a way of protecting ourselves from discomfort or disappointment. But ironically, the very act of making excuses ensures that we never overcome those fears. We stay stuck in the same patterns, the same habits, the same results. Discipline is what breaks that cycle. It says, I'm afraid, but I'll act anyway. It's a declaration that we are stronger than our doubts and that our goals matter more than our comfort. Discipline also creates momentum. One disciplined action leads to another. Waking up early leads to a focused morning. A focused morning leads to a productive day. A productive day reinforces a positive mindset, which makes it easier to stay disciplined the next day. Momentum is the reward of consistency. And with enough momentum, even the most deeply rooted excuses start to lose their grip. There's also a compounding effect with discipline. Just as financial investments grow over time with interest, disciplined habits build results that multiply. Writing a page a day becomes a book in a year. Saving a small amount regularly builds a strong financial foundation. Practicing a skill daily leads to mastery. These gains don't happen all at once, which is why excuses are so tempting. They offer immediate relief. But discipline plays the long game, and it always wins in the end. It's important to recognize that discipline doesn't mean never resting or always pushing to the limit. It means making conscious choices, even in how and when we rest. Rest itself can be disciplined when it's intentional and not driven by avoidance. True discipline includes balance. It recognizes that sustainability matters more than intensity, but it also means not using rest as a disguise for procrastination. It knows the difference between recovery and excuse. In every moment of choice, we face a fork in the road. One path leads to the comfort of excuses, the other to the challenge of discipline. The first feels good temporarily, but often leads to regret. The second is harder, but leads to growth, achievement, and pride. Each time we choose discipline, we cast a vote for the person we want to become, and with enough votes, that person becomes real. Discipline is not glamorous. It rarely gets applause, but it is the foundation beneath every goal achieved and every transformation made. When we stop listening to excuses and start honoring our commitments, we unlock our true potential. Discipline isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. It's about showing up, doing the work, and proving to ourselves that we are capable of far more than we think. And in that quiet, persistent effort, we begin to win the battle of you versus you. Growth is one of those concepts everyone talks about, yet few fully embrace in their daily lives. It's not just about learning new skills or gaining knowledge, but about fundamentally changing who we are in order to become better versions of ourselves. However, true growth requires something more than just desire or intention. It demands accountability. Without accountability, growth stalls because there's no real mechanism to ensure we follow through on the commitments we make to ourselves. Accountability is the bridge between potential and progress, and it is essential for lasting transformation. When we think of accountability, many of us imagine being answerable to others, like a boss, coach, or mentor checking in on our performance. While external accountability can be helpful, especially in the beginning, the most powerful form is internal accountability. This means holding ourselves responsible for our actions, decisions, and results without excuses or blame. It requires a level of honesty and integrity that is sometimes uncomfortable but always necessary for growth. When we cultivate internal accountability, we stop waiting for permission or approval from others. We take full ownership of our lives and the direction they're heading. Without accountability, it's easy to fall into patterns of self-deception. We tell ourselves we'll start tomorrow, we blame circumstances for our lack of progress, or we convince ourselves that small failures don't really matter. These are all ways to avoid discomfort and responsibility, but they come at a steep cost. Every time we let ourselves off the hook, we weaken our ability to grow. Growth is messy and difficult. It requires confronting uncomfortable truths, making tough choices, and consistently pushing beyond what feels easy. Accountability keeps us honest during this process and ensures we don't stray from the path we've set. Accountability also clarifies what growth looks like in practice. When we set goals or commit to change, having clear standards and benchmarks is crucial. Accountability means defining what success means for us and measuring our progress against that. Without these markers, it's easy to lose focus or get discouraged. For example, if someone wants to get healthier but has no way of tracking their habits or results, they may feel like they're making progress when in reality they're not. Being accountable means regularly checking in, evaluating what's working and what's not, and adjusting accordingly. It's about being proactive rather than passive in our growth journey. Another important aspect of accountability is embracing feedback. Growth requires humility, the willingness to acknowledge our limitations and mistakes. When we hold ourselves accountable, we open the door to constructive criticism, whether from others or from our own reflections. This feedback is a powerful tool for learning and improvement. Instead of reacting defensively or avoiding the truth, accountable individuals use feedback as fuel to refine their approach and deepen their self-awareness. Over time, this builds resilience and a mindset oriented toward continuous development. One of the reasons accountability is so effective is that it creates a sense of commitment. When we declare our intentions openly, whether to ourselves or others, we generate a form of social or psychological pressure that motivates us to act. This can be as simple as telling a friend about a goal or writing down a plan and reviewing it regularly. Commitment is more than wishful thinking. It's a deliberate decision backed by accountability. It strengthens our resolve to keep moving forward even when motivation wanes or obstacles arise. Accountability also fosters discipline, which is the daily practice that sustains growth. Without someone or something holding us responsible, it's easy to give in to procrastination or distraction. But when we know we must answer for our progress, we're more likely to prioritize the small, consistent actions that add up over time. Discipline is built on this foundation of accountability, knowing that we owe it to ourselves to follow through regardless of how we feel in the moment. It's important to recognize that accountability is not about punishment or harsh self-judgment. Rather, it is about cultivating self-respect and a commitment to our own potential. When we hold ourselves accountable in a healthy way, we create a positive feedback loop. Progress builds confidence, confidence motivates more action, and more action leads to further growth. This cycle reinforces the belief that we are capable of change and improvement, which in turn sustains our efforts. Sometimes, accountability requires seeking support from others. While internal accountability is the foundation, having mentors, coaches, or peers who challenge us and provide encouragement can amplify our growth. These relationships create external accountability structures that complement our internal efforts. They provide perspective, guidance, and a reality check when we might be tempted to slack off or make excuses. Sharing our journey with others also reduces isolation and makes growth a shared experience rather than a solitary struggle. Growth and accountability go hand in hand because growth demands action, reflection, and course correction. Without accountability, it's too easy to settle for comfort, rationalize setbacks, or ignore progress altogether. With accountability, however, we stay connected to our purpose and maintain momentum. We learn to accept responsibility not as a burden, but as a source of empowerment. When we own our choices fully, we create the conditions for meaningful and lasting transformation. In the end, growth is about becoming more of who we are meant to be. Accountability ensures that this process doesn't remain a vague hope or fleeting inspiration. It grounds growth in reality by requiring us to show up, do the work, and measure our progress honestly. When we commit to accountability, we unlock a powerful tool for change, one that enables us to overcome obstacles, build resilience, and continually push beyond our limits. This internal commitment to responsibility is what ultimately leads us to the most significant victories in life, those won over our own doubts, excuses, and limitations. Your future is self-made, shaped not by chance or luck, but by the choices, habits, and mindset you cultivate every day. It's a concept that puts the power squarely in your hands, reminding you that no one else is responsible for your life's direction or outcomes. While circumstances can influence your journey, The ultimate trajectory depends on how you respond to those circumstances and what you decide to do consistently over time. Understanding this principle is both empowering and challenging because it requires ownership and intentionality in crafting the life you want. At the heart of a self-made future is the recognition that your thoughts are the seeds from which your reality grows. Every belief you hold about yourself and the world influences the decisions you make and the actions you take. If you believe that you are capable, worthy, and resilient, you will naturally gravitate toward behaviors that reflect those beliefs. Conversely, limiting thoughts can create invisible barriers that hold you back before you even try. The future begins in your mind long before it materializes in the outside world. By consciously choosing empowering thoughts and attitudes, you set the foundation for a future aligned with your deepest aspirations. Beyond mindset, your habits are the building blocks of your future. Habits are the repeated actions that, when compounded over time, create significant outcomes. They can be small and seemingly insignificant. A daily morning routine, reading for a few minutes, or choosing healthy meals, but their cumulative effect is enormous. The future is made up of countless moments where you decide to act one way or another, and those moments add up. Good habits become the infrastructure that supports growth, productivity, and well-being. Bad habits, if left unchecked, erode potential and create obstacles. Because habits are often automatic, they operate quietly in the background, making it essential to cultivate awareness and intentionally design habits that serve your goals. Making your future self-made also means embracing responsibility for your decisions. Life will inevitably throw challenges, setbacks, and unexpected changes your way. It can be tempting to blame external factors or other people when things don't go as planned. But the difference between those who thrive and those who struggle is the willingness to own their choices regardless of circumstances. Ownership means recognizing that while you may not control everything that happens, you always control how you respond. Each response is a choice that shapes your future. When you stop blaming and start owning, you reclaim your power and open the door to growth and possibility. The future you create is not the result of grand gestures alone, but of consistent, intentional action. Many people wait for the right moment to start something meaningful, but the truth is that there is no perfect time. What matters is taking the next right step today. Progress is built through momentum, and momentum comes from small wins that reinforce your commitment. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you strengthen your confidence and create positive momentum that propels you forward. In this way, your future is self-made not by luck or chance, but by deliberate, persistent effort. An essential part of making your future self-made is cultivating resilience. The path to any worthwhile goal is rarely smooth. There will be obstacles, failures, and moments of doubt. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward despite difficulties. It's a mindset that views failure not as a dead end but as a learning opportunity. When you develop resilience, you become less dependent on external conditions for your happiness or progress. You realize that your future is something you can build even in the face of adversity because it is rooted in your response, not your circumstances. Another critical factor in shaping your future is the environment you choose. The people you surround yourself with, the resources you access, and the culture you immerse yourself in all influence your growth. Positive environments that challenge and support you can accelerate your development and open doors to new opportunities. Conversely, toxic or limiting environments can drain your energy and stifle progress. Being intentional about your environment is a form of self-care and strategic thinking. It's a way of setting yourself up for success by aligning your surroundings with the future you want to create. While external factors matter, the reality is that your future depends more on internal factors. your mindset, habits, discipline, and resilience than on anything outside yourself. This perspective is freeing because it means you are not a passive victim of fate, but an active creator of your life. It invites you to become the architect of your destiny, designing your actions, thoughts, and behaviors to build the future you desire. Ultimately, realizing that your future is self-made calls for courage. It means stepping into the unknown, taking risks, and embracing uncertainty with faith in your ability to adapt and grow. It means rejecting the temptation to wait for permission or perfect conditions and instead choosing to act with intention and purpose today. It's about trusting that each decision, no matter how small, contributes to the larger picture of your life. Your future is not predetermined, it is a work in progress, shaped daily by the choices you make. By taking ownership, cultivating empowering beliefs, building positive habits, and responding with resilience to challenges, you lay the groundwork for a life defined by your values and aspirations. The path may not always be easy, but it is yours to create. And in this realization lies the greatest power, the knowledge that you hold the pen to your own story, and every day offers a new opportunity to write the chapters of your future. Mindset is the invisible force that shapes how we experience the world, interpret events, and respond to challenges. It's the lens through which we view ourselves and our potential. More than skills, resources, or even opportunities, mindset is the greatest tool we have because it determines whether we see obstacles as insurmountable barriers or as stepping stones for growth. It influences our motivation, resilience, and ultimately the trajectory of our lives. At its core, mindset is about belief in our ability to learn, adapt, and improve. A growth mindset, for example, is the understanding that our talents and intelligence can be developed through effort and perseverance. This contrasts sharply with a fixed mindset, which assumes that our abilities are static and unchangeable. People with a fixed mindset tend to avoid challenges, give up easily, and feel threatened by the success of others. Those with a growth mindset embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, and find inspiration in the achievements of others. This difference in mindset creates a profound gap in potential outcomes. The power of mindset lies in its influence on behavior. When you believe you can improve, you're more likely to take risks, seek feedback, and put in the necessary work to grow. On the other hand, a limiting mindset leads to self-doubt and avoidance. It can cause you to abandon goals prematurely or never pursue them in the first place. Because mindset shapes how you respond to difficulties, it directly impacts your resilience, the ability to bounce back from failures and keep moving forward. Mindset also affects how we interpret success and failure. Someone with a positive and growth-oriented mind that sees failure not as a reflection of their worth, but as valuable feedback. They understand that setbacks are part of the learning process and use them to adjust their strategies. This perspective turns challenges into opportunities and failures into lessons, creating a cycle of continuous improvement. Conversely, a negative or fixed mindset tends to personalize failure, leading to discouragement, and sometimes even giving up entirely. Another important aspect of mindset is self-talk, the internal dialogue we have with ourselves. This constant stream of thoughts can either uplift and motivate or undermine and discourage. Positive self-talk reinforces confidence and focus, while negative self-talk sows doubt and fear. Becoming aware of your self-talk and intentionally cultivating supportive and empowering messages is a key step in harnessing mindset as a tool. The stories you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of play a huge role in shaping your actions and results. Mindset also influences how you deal with uncertainty and change. Life is unpredictable, and the ability to adapt is essential for growth and success. A flexible mindset embraces uncertainty as an inevitable part of life and sees change as an opportunity rather than a threat. This adaptability makes it easier to navigate challenges and seize new possibilities. When you approach life with curiosity and openness, you're more likely to find creative solutions and maintain your motivation even when circumstances shift. The environment around you can impact your mindset, but ultimately it's your mindset that determines how you internalize that environment. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you interpret it and respond. This distinction is crucial because it means that no matter your background or current situation, you have the power to shape your outlook and influence your future. Mindset is a personal choice and a daily practice, not just a fixed trait. Developing a powerful mindset requires intentional effort. It begins with self-awareness, recognizing your current beliefs and thought patterns. From there, you can challenge limiting beliefs and replace them with more empowering ones. Surrounding yourself with positive influences and role models who embody the mindset you aspire to is also helpful. Additionally, cultivating habits that reinforce a growth mindset, such as embracing challenges, seeking feedback, and celebrating progress, strengthens this tool over time. Mindset is also closely tied to motivation. When you believe your efforts will lead to improvement, you're naturally more driven to take action. This belief fuels persistence even when the journey is difficult or slow. Without a strong mindset, motivation tends to be fragile and fleeting. It can easily be derailed by setbacks or criticism. But with a resilient mindset, motivation becomes a steady force that keeps you moving forward, no matter the obstacles. Ultimately, mindset is not just about achieving external success. It's about cultivating a healthier relationship with yourself and your goals. It frees you from the fear of failure and the paralysis of perfectionism. It encourages experimentation and learning rather than rigid expectations. When you view growth as a process rather than a destination, you create space for curiosity, creativity, and joy in your pursuits. Mindset is your greatest tool because it influences every aspect of your life, from how you approach challenges to how you treat yourself and others. It determines whether you see yourself as a victim of circumstance or as an empowered creator of your destiny. By cultivating a growth-oriented, resilient, and positive mindset, you equip yourself to navigate life's complexities with confidence and grace. This tool, once sharpened and applied consistently, opens doors to opportunities, fosters meaningful relationships, and leads to a fulfilling, purpose-driven life. Success is often viewed as a distant goal or a final destination, something to be achieved at some point far down the road. Yet the truth is that success is not a single moment or event, but a series of daily decisions, small choices made consistently that shape the trajectory of your life. Each day you have the opportunity to decide what kind of person you want to be, what values you want to live by, and what actions you will take toward your goals. These decisions, repeated over time, build the foundation of success. The idea that success is a daily decision means that it is within your control. It isn't something that happens by accident or because of luck. It is the result of deliberate choices and intentional actions. Every morning when you wake up, you face countless decisions. Will you get up early or sleep in? Will you invest time in learning or scroll through distractions? Will you take steps toward your goal or put them off? Each of these moments is an opportunity to affirm your commitment to success or to delay it. What you decide today impacts not only your immediate outcomes but also your future possibilities. Daily decisions that lead to success are often simple but require consistency. For example, deciding to exercise regularly even when it's inconvenient builds physical and mental strength. Choosing to read or study a little each day expands knowledge and skills. Making the effort to communicate clearly and build relationships nurtures trust and collaboration. These decisions may seem small or insignificant on their own, but their power lies in repetition. Consistent daily actions create momentum that propels you forward and makes success achievable. Success as a daily decision also means embracing responsibility. It's easy to blame external circumstances when things don't go as planned. I didn't have the right resources, the timing wasn't right, or someone else made it harder. But when you understand that success depends on your daily choices, excuses lose their hold. You recognize that no matter what challenges arise, you have the ability to decide how you respond. Taking ownership of your decisions, even the difficult ones, is a hallmark of those who succeed. Another critical aspect of viewing success as a daily decision is the role of discipline. Motivation alone is often fleeting. It can fluctuate based on mood or circumstance. Discipline, however, is what keeps you going when motivation wanes. It's the commitment to make the right choices even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the practice of aligning your daily actions with your long-term goals, regardless of temporary feelings or distractions. Without discipline, the daily decisions that lead to success can easily be derailed by procrastination, doubt, or temptation. This perspective also highlights the importance of clarity. Knowing what success means to you personally provides the compass for your daily decisions. Success looks different for everyone. It might be building a thriving business, raising a loving family, mastering a skill, or contributing to a community. When you have a clear vision of your goals and values, it becomes easier to make decisions that align with them. Clarity helps you prioritize your time and energy, reducing the noise of irrelevant options and focusing your efforts on what truly matters. In addition, seeing success as a daily decision encourages mindfulness. It invites you to be present and intentional about the choices you make rather than acting on autopilot. When you become aware of your habits and patterns, you can identify where you might be slipping into behaviors that don't serve your goals. This awareness allows for course correction before small missteps turn into bigger problems. Mindfulness in decision-making builds a stronger connection between your daily actions and your desired outcomes. The cumulative effect of daily decisions is profound. Just as compound interest grows wealth over time, consistent choices build success in a way that is often invisible in the moment but undeniable in the long run. Each positive decision is like a brick in the foundation of your future. Skipping one workout or missing a day of practice may seem minor, but repeated over weeks or months, those missed opportunities add up. Conversely, consistently choosing to take positive actions creates a powerful momentum that can carry you through challenges and setbacks. It's also important to acknowledge that some days will be harder than others. You might face unexpected obstacles, fatigue, or discouragement. But even on those difficult days, success is still a decision. It might mean deciding to rest and recover properly, or it might mean pushing through discomfort with grit and perseverance. Success is not about perfection, it's about persistence. The key is to keep making those daily decisions to move forward, no matter how small the steps may seem. Support systems can play a valuable role in reinforcing the daily decisions that lead to success. Whether it's mentors, friends, family, or a community of like-minded individuals, having others who hold you accountable, encourage you, and celebrate your progress can make a significant difference. While success ultimately depends on your own decisions, the influence of positive relationships helps sustain motivation and provides perspective when challenges arise. Finally, framing success as a daily decision empowers you to see yourself as an active participant in your own life story. It shifts the focus from waiting for external validation or circumstances to change, to taking control of what you can influence, your actions and mindset. This shift fosters a sense of empowerment and optimism, knowing that each day presents a fresh opportunity to steer your life in the direction you desire. In conclusion, success is not a one-time event or a distant goal. It is the product of countless daily decisions. Each choice you make, no matter how small, contributes to building the life you envision. By embracing responsibility, cultivating discipline, maintaining clarity, practicing mindfulness, and seeking support, you create a sustainable path to success. The power to shape your future lies in the decisions you make today, tomorrow, and every day after. Success is ultimately a daily decision you are empowered to make.